It is back to school season, so this video includes 5 to 6 easy, yummy, and nutritious meals, most of which come with meal prep options, and there's no special equipment needed anywhere either. Feel free to click like before we get started, that would be amazing, and without further ado, let's begin. This first recipe is super quick to make. It's these delicious, fresh, cold noodles with Tonkatsu tofu. Heat a non-stick skillet with a bit of oil to medium. Chop up some firm tofu. Transfer it to a deep dish plate and add some flour to it. Mix. Once the oil is hot, add the tofu, mixing it here and there until golden brown. Takes around 8 minutes. In the meantime, prepare this super simple dressing, which is equal parts olive oil, white wine vinegar, soy sauce, agave or maple syrup, and roasted sesame seeds. Now once the tofu has slightly browned, I'm adding some soy sauce to it, vinegar, and ketchup. Cook up the noodles of your choosing. Chop up some cucumber using a vegetable peeler, so you're cutting that into noodle shape as well. And cut up some spring onion, not pictured, but very important. Then combine everything, the noodles, the sauce, the cucumber, the onion, some more sesame seeds. Top with your tofu, and if you want some spice in this, add a sprinkle of chili flakes or some kind of hot spicy condiment that you like. Now sometimes I like to turn this recipe into a toast variation, skipping the noodles, but adding twice as much cucumber to the dressing, letting that marinate for about 5 minutes before adding that to some toast or vegan cream cheese or some other spread of choice. Oh, I bet some miso butter would be delicious in this. This next recipe has become my new comfort meal. It's this cozy tikka masala type meal. So good. Start by marinating the tofu. Cut up some spring onions and transfer those to a medium to large jar or bowl. Next, add some soy yogurt or coconut milk to that. Also some lemon juice or vinegar, olive oil, some tikka masala spice mix, and salt. Then grab a block of firm tofu. Either chop it up into bite-sized chunks, or you can also just pull it into chunks. Add the tofu to the jar, close it off, shake it up, and then place it into the fridge for at least 30 minutes. Or ideally, overnight. Now onto the sauce. I am so excited to be introducing you to my new pot. It's not a Le Creuset, it's a cheaper off-brand, I believe. Heat some olive oil to medium. Once it's hot, add the chopped onion and ginger and give that about 5 minutes. Then add the garlic and give that another 2 minutes. Next, add some more tikka spice and give that a quick mix. Deglaze everything with a splash of water before adding crushed tomatoes. Also add some water or vegetable broth to that. Put on a lid, bring this up to a quick boil, then turn the heat back down to medium and allow it to simmer for at least 20 minutes. Meanwhile, grab a non-stick saucepan, add a bit of oil, bring the heat to medium-high, and then add the marinated tofu from the jar. Back to the now simmered tomato sauce. Add either some coconut milk to that or some soy cream if you don't want this to be tasting of coconut. For some added thickness, you can add some in cornstarch dissolved water. Nope, in water dissolved cornstarch. Bring the sauce back up to a boil to activate the starch just for like a minute or two. Season with lots of salt to taste. And don't forget to add some fresh herbs if you happen to have them. I would recommend cilantro. And then serve with whatever you like. I had this over some quick rice and then also squeezed a bunch of lime juice on this before eating. On to meal number 3, homemade fresh pasta, which is, bear with me, surprisingly low effort considering we're making it ourselves, and it tastes 10 times better than store-bought. This recipe in particular is inspired by one of Jacob's reels here. In a large mixing bowl, place all the dry ingredients. If you can't find semolina, then just substitute that with more flour. And then create a little hole in the center of the bowl and add the wet ingredients in there. Mix everything up with a spoon until it roughly comes together, and then transfer that onto your surface. Kneading this for about 5 minutes. If necessary, add a bit of extra water as you're kneading the dough. It also helps to have lightly greased hands. Place this ball of dough into the fridge for 30 minutes. Now once you're ready to cook the pasta, bring a pot of salted water up to a boil, and now using some scissors, cut the dough into little chunks. Instead of cutting the pasta directly into the water, I would recommend to do that over a plate first, and then to add all the pasta at the same time. Now, since we made the pasta ourselves, the sauce part we're keeping incredibly lazy. So to the cooked and drained pasta, I'm adding my favorite store-bought tomato sauce, followed by some store-bought hummus, and some baby spinach. Last but not least, serve. I added some spring onion and sesame seeds to the top. Quick intermission to showcase my new mug. It's so cute, my mom got this for me recently. I am, by the way, going back to school as well in the fall. Well, kind of. I'm going back to language school to learn Spanish for real for the first time. Thank you to Lingoda for sponsoring this part of the video. It is never too late to start a new language. As you might remember, I went to Madrid not too long ago, and I absolutely fell in love with this place. It is such a cool city, and I could totally see myself living there if I spoke any Spanish. Yeah, it was really sad, the fact that I couldn't really get any more words out beyond sí, gracias, and vale, which gets you further than you might think, but still. How Lingoda works is you join real-time online lessons, and it's just you, a handful of other students, and the teacher, or just you and the teacher, whatever you prefer. All of Lingoda's teachers are, of course, certified professionals, and they have them kind of stationed all around the world, which means that pretty much at any time of day you can find an interesting class to hop onto. And what I know from my French lessons with Lingoda is that they really focus on speaking and interacting with each other and listening. And so yeah, they're really about immersing yourself in a language, which I think is how you get really good at it. Right now, Lingoda is doing a huge back-to-school sale, offering you 25% off of your first 2 months of learning. And on top of that, if you're still a bit undecided, you can now also try their 7-day free trial, which gives you 3 free group lessons to check out for free. Click the link down below in the description to get your discount, to sign up for the trial, and to overall learn more about Lingoda. So this next meal idea is a healthier copycat version of this wrap that I like to get from Swing Kitchen, which is this vegan fast food chain. Preheat the oven to 200 degrees Celsius and line a baking sheet with parchment paper. Cut up a small head of cauliflower. So I'm cutting the cauliflower into florets and the potatoes into about 1 centimeter thick slices. Transfer the veggies to the baking sheet. Add 3 to 4 cloves of garlic, drizzle that with olive oil, sprinkle over some salt and some other spices of choice, and place this into the oven for 35 to 40 minutes. Now once you're ready to assemble the wrap, prepare the fresh ingredients. I'm chopping up some red onion, putting that into a bowl of water first for about 10 minutes. Also, some tomato and iceberg lettuce needs to be chopped up. Now what's so good about this wrap and this fast food place as a whole is their sauces. So in order to somewhat replicate that, I'm simply peeling the roasted garlic carefully. It might still be hot, and then combining that with some vegan mayonnaise. Just kind of like mashing it up with a fork. Now onto assembling the wrap in whatever order that you prefer. I don't know, I think it makes sense to start with the mayonnaise, and then to add the lettuce and tomato, then the roasted veggies, the onion, and then for some spice I also added some hot sauce and some sesame seeds. Now, the main difference between my wrap and the fast food wrap is that instead of roasted baked potatoes, they're using deep fried hash browns, which obviously taste amazing, but I could not be bothered to make my own hash browns at this moment, but maybe another time. Okay, this last recipe is another copycat restaurant type meal. It is very reminiscent of what I would get at Sweet Green. First, preheat the oven to 200 degrees Celsius and line a baking sheet with parchment paper. Also, get some grain of choice going. I went for some wild rice. Feel free to peel the sweet potato and then cut it into bite-sized chunks. Transfer it to the baking sheet, drizzle with olive oil and cover in spices and salt, and then put that into the oven for about 30 minutes. In the meantime, grab some broccoli or some broccolini, which I steamed in a small pan for about 3-ish minutes. Then I removed all of that and used the same pan to quickly put together the sauce. It's so yummy. You basically add all the ingredients at once. Bring them up to a quick boil, and then allow everything to simmer over medium for 2 to 3 minutes. If it gets too thick, add some water. And yeah, this recipe, it's basically covering a bunch of healthy foods with this yummy sauce. So if you're struggling to eat your greens or to eat a variety of vegetables in general, this sauce improves that experience quite a bit. I know almonds and avocados aren't always the cheapest ingredients, but in this case, I got the avocado for $1.29, I believe, and the almonds I got from the baking aisle, which they seem to be a lot cheaper, and I got the whole pack for €2. But I'll have more options for substitute products in the description. This recipe, it's sort of an attempt at a veganized harvest bowl, if you know what I mean. If you know, you know. I've been having a lot of fun with TikTok recently, so feel free to follow me on there if you haven't yet done so. The handle is at Mina_Rome because someone had Mina Rome, but that's okay. Thank you so much for being here, for watching, for commenting and liking. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you sometime soon. Bye!